When did you make your feeding decision? What factors influenced your decision? Unless there was some unexpected medical reason not to, I had been planning on breastfeeding since I found out I was pregnant. It was not something I sat down and thought about, it was just what was expected. My mother, mother-in-law, and sister all breastfed as far as I know. However, during my prenatal care, I was given a lot more information that really finalized my decision. During your prenatal care, what kind of information was provided to you? We went over health benefits of breastfeeding for the baby and the increased risk of health concerns with not breastfeeding for me, such as diabetes and cancer. We talked about convenience and cost. I don't want to go out of my way to spend money on time on something I already have. These conversations helped me understand formula feeding better, something I did not know much about. Did you attend any specific breastfeeding classes or prenatal classes that covered breastfeeding? Although it would have been nice to go to a class, I wasn't really too worried because I had a great support system. My sister had a baby only 2 years ago and was one of my main resources of information and supplies, such as nursing covers. If I had any serious questions or concerns, I was able to talk to my doctor. The baby was born, did you have any initial difficulties or struggles with breastfeeding? If so, what were they? Right after he was born, I was feeling stressed and nervous, so I focused on relaxing and then placed him on my chest. I was able to keep him there, and within a little while, he started trying to move his head toward my breast. I do not necessarily remember any initial difficulties other than my breast and nipples feeling quite sore and painful. What types of support, if any, did you receive from your healthcare providers regarding breastfeeding after the birth of your baby? The people that were working with me during my pregnancy and during delivery were all great and provided me with lots of information and resources to take home. Specifically in terms of breastfeeding, we had some pretty long conversations. We went over skin-to-skin contact, latching, positioning, and what to look out for if the baby is feeding appropriately, such as swallowing, weight, output, and looking for cues for when to feed him and when to stop feeding him. They also went over the types of formula that might be necessary and the types of formula that are available and how to supplement with formula or switch to formula, and any potential issues that may arise after I go home, such as sore nipples. Cues that your baby exhibited when he was ready to be fed. How did you tell he was satisfied? I tried to feed him every 2 to 3 hours, but I was able to start picking up on his cues fairly soon. Usually he would start moving his mouth and making noises, turning his head or moving his arms. He was pretty easy baby, and I think you just start to pick up on these things when you're spending so much time with the baby. For the most part, he would gradually start feeding less and less and eventually just let go of the nipple. What are some challenges or barriers you face while breastfeeding? How did you overcome them? There were a couple of things. For one, it was all on me. I could not pass my husband a bottle to feed him at night. I had to get up and do it. It was hard to find a place to feed him too, especially at family functions or events, because I like feeding in a more private area. I always had the nursing cover on me in case I needed to use it, but it was not my first choice. And if I wanted to go out without him or do something, it was always rushed and on his schedule because I never wanted to miss a feeding time or leave him hungry. You overcome them because your baby is your priority.